2, 3, turn, right curbstone to the outside left curb to the bottom right fence, before the fence on the brakes, fence turn in brakes, and turning in left curb, right curb, to the bottom left fence on the brakes, and to the right second right curbstone, miss, hit, and also kinda hit, and back to the left side, and brakes, and turning in right curbstone, and brakes again, and left curbstone tight, left curb, and right curb, and 90 sign on the left, and stay left.
Have a great day, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Good morning, comrades. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Nürburgring. In case you watched the previous videos, we are doing our first lap of the Nürburgring, where we're doing a track walk. So we walked so far up until Kallenhard, and now we will proceed to, well, further on, starting with the Spiegelkurve, with Miss Hit Miss and Wehrseifen, and further. And along the way, I will tell you how to take some of these corners, what makes them more challenging, and maybe some other unseen artifacts and unknown features of them. So let's proceed to our first one, Pif-Paf. From Kallenhard to Pif-Paf, aim for the Marshal Post 108, again, FIA fence, very easy to spot. And it's hard to believe, but ever since the resurfacing with a race car, with slick tires and good aerodynamics, this section is actually no lift flat out. And at the white point here, at the white dot, is a turning point towards the left curb, right curb, and then towards the left fence. However, with a street car, I would definitely suggest to do braking. Yeah, you need to brake. Not a lot, but still brake enough to have a balanced entry towards the Pif-Paf or the Spiegelkurve. Again, it's an unofficial name, just like James Left, but actually more popularized, more official than the James Left that we covered yesterday. So Pif-Paf, because it goes Pif-Paf, or Spiegelkurve, which means the mirror corner, because it's pretty much mirrored the left and right. Guess in a way it maybe kind of makes sense, because chicken is poultry, and then you do Pif-Paf to shoot it, and then you have chicken on your plate. Okay, enough with the first bad joke of the year. So we have left curbstone, to which you aim, after that straight line to the right curb, and a reference point after that is the high FIA fence on the left that we will see in a bit, towards which you need to go on the brakes. Not a lot, but harder than some points for the entry of Miss Hit Miss. Can we see it already from here? Yeah, the tiny fence over there. I just realized that my mic was set on being front biased the whole time, so massive apologies for that. And now it's rear biased, so you should understand me better. Anyway, Pif-Paf, and then you go towards the braking zone of the fence over there before entering Miss Hit Miss. Now, something that you will probably not notice when you're traveling quite fast through here is this is actually a straight line, and it should help you to position yourself for the entry. So just know that this is straight. Here you go on the brakes, straight line to the fence. It feels very awkward and very unsafe, and but this is what you should be doing before proceeding for Miss Hit Miss. And why is it called Miss Hit Miss? Because you have three curbstones. The first curb over here on the right is the one that you miss, so you start turning in but you do not touch it. Then it will be the second curb that you still should not touch, but go very close to it. Also here we will see a white dot that shows us a turning point very close to the fence again, so white turning point to the right. You kind of start steering in, so you actually, if this is the steering point, you will actually still be close to the barrier and miss the first curb, and there we see already the second one to which you go. Because of the late entry, and because people sometimes think I should aim for the curb, and you aim for the first one, what then ends up happening, yes, you will actually understeer when you carry too much speed, and you end up in that barrier over there. And again, like previously mentioned, you can clearly see that these barriers are dark, so they're older because it's yeah, this one pretty much never something happens here, but there, shiny new barriers because they're being replaced quite often because this exact thing is happening. And also here on the right, next to the right curb towards which you should be aiming, you see another white dot that is being used by driving schools as the indication reference point of the apex point. So you go towards here, and then there is another right-hander. It's a triple right-hander, that's why it's miss, hit, miss. And then you start aiming towards the outside. So do not go too close, do not stay too close to the right, but go more to the outside while still turning to the right to then proceed towards Wehrseifen. Miss, hit, miss. And there is one very tricky bit over there that we're gonna go to in a bit. Maybe first, maybe we can spot some of, yeah, of debris, of artifacts, of some cars. Yeah, lots of rubber. Most importantly, you can see there's a bolt. There is a bolt over here and some nuts and bolts. So that's all we get. No real car parts, I guess. No hunting for Red October or red taillight or something. Not sure if you can see, but a big flock of sheep over there. I found something interesting that you would not spot if you're driving here quite fast. This. It's obviously not man-made. It's done by some kind of animal, because we have many foxes, many deers, many squirrels, all kinds of fauna next to the magnificent flora that we have, just to flex on my Latin knowledge. Yeah, and sometimes it also happens that deer do cross the track when there is a race happening or maybe TF happening and you hit it. Yeah, it's not uncommon. Now on to the most tricky and unexpected part of this section. So there you have the second curb, which is hit, and this one is the miss. So you end up on the outside, but with the resurfacing works of 2019, for some reason the connection between the new and the old tarmac is not as smooth as you would expect it. So what happens here when you go flat out, because you're already like a full on the throttle for the exit, and here you have, actually I must say that it became better over the last couple of years, but it's still not smooth. There is actually some elevation change. There's also definitely a difference in grip levels, and especially if you have to be here on the outside completely, it is quite, well, it is a quite noticeable bump. So what happens, especially in the wet, mostly in the wet, in the dry it is actually quite safe, but in the wet, a surface change to the old tarmac and then a small bump. This unsettles the car, and especially rear-wheel driven cars. So what you see happening again after there, the understeering barriers, you have here again the new barriers, because of the cars are actually losing grip, either like already sliding out, hitting the barrier here. You can actually see, this needs to be replaced. Yeah, I should definitely let Nürburgring know to fix up that barrier. Yeah, so you end up understeering or oversteering into here, scratching this barrier, and then optionally also ping-ponging yourself to the other one there. So this is why you see that these ones are actually also new in comparison to the other barriers. After miss, hit, miss, you will be traveling in a straight line, again, opposite direction, in a straight line towards Wehrseifen, and it is actually the slowest section of the track. That's something that you need to keep in mind. So A, you need to brake very hard here, but it's also very important once you're done braking here in a straight line to let go of the brakes to turn in to the right curbstone. Otherwise, you'll be, again, one of the reasons why these barriers are flashy. But after that, you also need to brake again for another tight corner, again, the slowest section of the track, because otherwise you might, well, need that tire wall over there. This is why it is there, because, yeah, people sometimes forget and they understeer into that, and to soften the blow, that's why the tire wall is there. Quite tricky also in the wet. Also, lots of graffiti here because it's one of the access points, one of the easier access points to the track. So people, especially in 24-hour race, this whole field is covered with campers, with caravans, with tents, with built podiums, and people just get on here and paint something here, which is again illegal. It's not allowed, but people do it just like typical vandalism. But nobody is caring as long as it's not too obnoxious graffiti that makes the grip levels very bad. So what I was referring to is that you can use the outside line, which is also different surface than the inside line, which is more newer. The outside is older. However, this is where the cars do not drive in the dry days, so there is no rubber there. And you can see also there is a banking, so in case it is raining, in case it is wet, all the water is going downhill to the inside. So in the wet days, definitely stay on the outside for the ideal wet line. Yes. And then turn in to the left curb, which is also very slippery section. So yeah, be cautious here with going on the throttle.
When I put the turbo in it,
Yeah.
because it also has like forged pistons and stuff, because
Okay.
the stock engine would never ever stay alive like that.
Unless, of course, for some reason you want to have a nice picture for drifting, but I did not say that because racetrack photographers are not allowed to publish any drifting pictures. So don't waste your time and do not take unnecessary risks, because you cannot impress anyone at the Nürburgring, but you can make everybody laugh. And also, an interesting thing, from here you can actually see X-Mühle over there. Maybe on the camera you cannot see it that well, but there, that small section is actually X-Mühle, the next section of the track towards which where we'll be going now. And it's definitely also one of the most photogenic sections of the track, this beautiful S of Wehrseifen with the hills in the background. Magnificent. And speaking of this section being photogenic, I realized that last year I made a thumbnail for last year's track walk video, and I just did a comparison of last year versus this year. Well, I mean, you can tell me there's definitely some changes for the better. I lost probably a couple of kilos on my face alone. And I think it's a nice positive note to end today's section, today's video, today's track walk here at Wehrseifen. Tomorrow, tune in again where we're going to continue our walk towards Breidscheid, Lauda Links, Bergwerk, the most important corner of the track that I explained in one of the recent videos, and of course also beyond that. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video, that you learned a thing or two that will make you become safer, eventually also faster, and just simply a better driver. So thanks for watching, and looking forward to seeing you either tomorrow on my channel or in real life here at the Nürburgring. Bye bye!